Canada's immigration policies are shifting and fast. If you're planning to move to Canada or know someone who is, you need to hear this. In today's video, we're diving into why Canada is now pulling back on its immigration policies, making it harder for people to secure visas, work permits, and even just enter the country. Stay with me because we'll break down what's happening, why, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Whether you're a student, worker, or just visiting, the changes ahead will impact you. In our last video, we discussed how skyrocketing housing prices have driven immigrants to move from major cities to rural areas in Canada, or even back to their home countries. But here's the twist. Many of those who are leaving are immigrants from largely developed nations. However, for people from developing countries still hoping for a better life in Canada, the dream is facing new hurdles. Canada is now turning away foreigners faster than ever. In fact, in the first 7 months of 2024, the Canada Border Services Agency, CBSA, has already rejected over 4,000 foreigners. That's a staggering 20% increase compared to last year. Whether you're a student, worker, or tourist, the odds of being accepted into Canada have dramatically shrunk. But why is this happening? Let's dig deeper. A big change that happened recently was the end of a critical temporary public policy. This policy, originally introduced in 2020 during the pandemic, allowed temporary residents in Canada, those on visitor visas, to apply for work permits without leaving the country. The aim was to help people stranded due to border closures. Originally, this policy was supposed to expire in 2025. However, Canada has now ended it early. As of August 28, 2024, if you're in Canada on a visitor visa and you haven't already applied for a work permit, you'll need to return to your home country and apply from there. This abrupt change has caught many people off guard. While those who applied before the deadline will still have their applications processed, others will be affected by this major shift. And that's not all. Visa rejections are at an all-time high. In fact, in most months of 2024, Canada denied more visas than it approved. This crackdown affects all kinds of foreign nationals, including students, temporary workers, and tourists. In addition, Canada has now imposed stricter limits on the number of foreign workers that companies can hire. Previously, employers could hire 20% of their workforce from abroad, but now it's limited to just 10%. So, who does this impact the most? Well, a large number of travelers to Canada come from countries like India, China, and the Philippines. In fact, Americans rank as the 5th largest group of foreign nationals in Canada. This means that people from developing nations who rely heavily on immigration for better economic opportunities will be hit hard by these changes. Let's talk about rejections, something more people are experiencing in 2024. The Canadian Border Services Agency, CBSA, is responsible for enforcing immigration laws. And whether your visa or work permit is accepted largely depends on whether the officer reviewing your case is convinced about the intent of your visit and your plans to return home after your permit expires. If your application gets rejected, you do have options, though they're limited. You can request a review of the decision through CBSA, but be warned. If you apply again with the same information, the outcome is unlikely to change. Many people make the mistake of reapplying without making any significant changes to their case, and they end up spending more money without any results. If your situation changes, such as securing new job offers or educational opportunities, you may have a better chance of success. If you hold a temporary resident visa, you might be wondering if you can leave Canada and come back. The answer depends on the type of visa you have. For single-entry visas, once you leave, you can't re-enter Canada without applying for a new visa. But if you have a multiple-entry visa and it hasn't expired, you're good to go. Always make sure to double-check the terms and conditions on your visa to avoid any surprises. You might be asking yourself, why is Canada making it harder for foreigners to come in now? The answer lies in the rising number of temporary residents in the country. Since 2021, the number of temporary residents has surged from 1 million to 2.5 million in just 3 years. Over half of these newcomers are workers and about 20% are students. With such a sharp increase in population, housing prices, rental costs, and the general cost of living have skyrocketed. This strain on Canada's resources has led to the current immigration crackdown. The government is now limiting the number of foreign workers and tightening immigration controls to manage this surge in population growth. Canada's tightening immigration policies might be discouraging, but it's essential to stay informed and proactive. If you're already planning to move to Canada, make sure your applications are complete and accurate the first time around. Be prepared for longer wait times and stricter guidelines, and if you're currently in Canada on a temporary visa, now's the time to reevaluate your situation. I hope this breakdown helped you understand the big changes happening in Canada right now. Whether you're a student, worker, or simply planning a visit, knowing what to expect will help you navigate this challenging environment. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on Canada immigration. And as always, drop your questions in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay informed and stay prepared.